Drama video says kinda suck. I'm sure you've all heard about Sunny V2 like a billion times already. I mean, I know I did, but I feel like apart from the big creators, the genre of video essays is almost unexplored in a way. So recently, a pretty big creator called Skeppy, who, if you're watching, I assume you know about, got cancelled with a 14-page doc about him. Before Skeppy could even make a response to the situation, wow, would you look at that? The Drama Minions already pumped out a whole video about the situation. But how? How is this possible? Now, as a person that's following the drama pretty closely, I stumbled across these videos like numerous times while anticipating Skeppy's response, like a starving Victorian child that feeds on drama, but I never really watched them, because why would I? What are they gonna do? Personally disprove these claims? Actually, I was at Skeppy's house, and he did not ghost you. That is false. Well, no, probably not. They're regular people like you and me that are just basically outlining their opinion on the whole doc, which you can read yourself. But alas, if I'm complaining about these guys not breaking into Skeppy's house in order to defend him, I have to actually stop whining and break into their houses, and then actually watch the video for myself, right? Look at this non-generic title and thumbnail. Wow, never seen this exact pattern before. Surely this isn't clickbait. Goodbye. Now, let's be real. Yep, it's clickbait. And I think it's pretty obvious since literally no one took the accuser's side in this controversy, so unless they lost their will to live, I think that all of these videos will take Skeppy's side. But what stands out to me is the inaccuracy right in the beginning of the video.
Like, what do you mean this guy hurt you? And then in the same statement, you say he didn't groom you.
Well, actually, if you read the full statement, she said that the grooming part was a separate dog made by a different person. Look, it's not like I want to nitpick this intro, but there's enough to criticize about the dogs without making mistakes that are just so careless. Like, seriously, not researching something enough is one thing, but ignoring what's literally in front of you is another. But I'm not making this video to vent, I'm making it to get validations from internet strangers, and also explain these videos on a psychological level, because no one else really wants to. Do you want to? Basically, it's a hook. Imagine you're a fish and the YouTuber is a fisherman that wants to eat fish for dinner. The worm on the hook is the thumbnail and title, and the hook itself is the first 30 seconds or so of the video to ensure you don't randomly change your mind and try to kill yourself at another fisherman's hook. In non-fishing terms, in the first minute or so of the video, a YouTuber needs to interest their viewer in a video, lest they click off and search for more interesting content. Back to thumbnails and titles. Think of how clickbait works. They are there to convey what the video is about, but clickbait weaponizes that by exaggerating or flat out lying about what's happening. We could say that this hook is almost clickbaity in its own right, since he later clarifies that he was wrong. However, there's still no real substance. Now, why don't I expand on that? The entire video boils down to, hey, this person did that. That's bad. That's not great. Why would you do that? And that's an opinion that literally everyone on Reddit would share. No, I didn't do it. Spare yourself like 8 minutes and just read the comment section of the post on r/dream was taken to for literally the same takes, but faster updates. But my issue here isn't that, oh, this guy is trying to talk about drama. Get banished. You need to be a good Christian YouTuber and steer clear of drama in general because blah 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 blah. No, it's that it's actually a topic with potential. Wanna know why Kaya might have thought he was a groomer? It could have been because of Caesar. Caesar is an adult who potentially could have embedded the idea that Skeppy equals bad into Kaya's head, and I don't even know, pushed them into believing that's actually true. You could talk about that. Yeah, I'm not denying that what Kaya did was bad, but you could talk about the reason people do these things. I'm not trying to villainize Caesar, but the reason I thought that way was because the docs were posted at this almost exactly the same time with references to each other. It's obvious they at least discussed this prior to posting the actual docs, and we know how Caesar feels about the situation. The creator I'm talking about didn't. Instead, they voiced what we're all thinking out loud. And this isn't even a personal attack on the creator himself. There's a reason I'm hiding all identifiable information about him and making his voice sound satanic. That was the weakest armor I've ever seen. This is about every single channel that makes unnecessary videos about drama. Watch literally any video covering this drama, for example. It's all drama you could condense more accurately and form your opinion on, stretched out just long enough to fit mid-roll ads. So why would you watch these videos? Why don't we say that part one more time? Form your own opinion. Yep, there's your answer. Let me elaborate. The reason people watch these types of channels isn't because they're genuinely invested in the drama at hand or really like watching ads. It's a combination of 3 factors: laziness to form your own opinion, parasocial relationships plus the halo effect, and morbid curiosity. Let's say you're Joe and you just came back from a long day of sitting at a desk and doing shit. Your brain is Kentucky Fried and you just want to watch something to fry it even further till it's a burnt chicken. You see a video on your recommendation page, how XYZ lost the entire audience in a matter of days. Sounds intriguing, right? How did they lose their audience so fast? They must have done something horrible, right? Something that could stimulate your brain, perhaps. So Joe clicks, and after some time of the narrator chanting what he already believes, like, wow, he ate a cat, that's terrible and illegal, Joe starts trusting the creator. Maybe he subscribes even, because hey, this guy agreed with him on the animal eating morality aspect, right? This guy's practically Jesus, meaning he'll always be correct and I can trust him. After some time, whenever new drama pops up, Joe will click on this creator's videos just so he can form an opinion about the whole thing. Now this scenario here can be, in psychological terms, broken down to those 3 aspects I mentioned earlier. I cannot do this. What are you doing to me? Why are you giving me enchantments? What is this? Huh. That was ambitious. Joe is more really curious about a creator he doesn't know about doing something bad. Narrator reinforces what Joe thinks. Joe trusts narrator because if he was right once, that means he'll always be right, which is the halo effect. Joe now doesn't need to make his own opinions because narrator can offer them on a silver platter. And that's bad. There have been so many cases that I've seen with these commentary channels where people don't bother doing their own research on important stuff and generally take the creator's opinion and run with it. That's harmful to both the viewer and the canceled person's reputation, because these drama creators have too big of a say in things. What is happening? Let's bring up a positive example of this. Have you noticed that after Charlie the Moist the Critical made a video about the European petition Stop Killing Games, it suddenly became extremely popular? Well, you probably haven't unless you're European or watch every single one of his videos, but still, it shows how big of a platform big creators have. Now, overabuse your platform and people will catch on, like what happened with Sunny V2, but I don't think people talk about the other creators being basically the same. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is prone to spreading misinformation, be it purposefully or an accident. Well, that's my attempt to form your opinion for the day. Hope you enjoy this in some way and don't harass anyone mentioned. I'm manipulating you into specifically not doing that. Thanks, and have a nice day.